your what is awesome. And that's the kind of thing that if you have a contact or a project manager, you can even say, hey, tell me how much this person wants to know. Or when you're working with somebody for the first time, you could say, look, I want to communicate with you in the most efficient way possible. How much detail do you want to hear? And I find that people really will appreciate that. So thank you for highlighting that, because I think that's an awesome communication.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're totally right. And usually my personal fallback is just to give them super fast, high level, because if they want to hear more, you can easily transition into, all right, well, let me tell you about all these things happening. But a lot of times at this level, more times than not, from my experience, people just want the quick and dirty, as opposed to like, how do you want to be communicated with? So my fallback here is usually just quick, high level stuff. And a lot of times too, this was another point here, was the accountability side of it, and being able to say, hey, this isn't working and we're doing this because of it. When you're able to show people that you're actioning items outside of some of these communications and these meetings, they also understand like, hey, this person knows when things are not going the way that they are, but they also know what they need to do to fix it. And they're going to be, boots on the ground there to make sure that it's working as they're coming out of it, as opposed to just saying, hey, it's not working and now we don't really know what to do about it. So the other side of this is really that follow through and the accountability. And on your end, just saying like, here's what's happening and why, but also here's what I'm going to do to help continue to push it forward. So now that you have a seat at the table, we've kind of gone through all this marketing stuff. How do you end up dealing with more of the feedback? And a lot of this just comes with being in these projects a lot longer, and just understanding that a lot of it's not personal in any way, even though as a creative, you tend to be very close to the work. It's just a process of working through this on your own and understanding that, especially at some of these C-suite levels, they're looking at data and they're not understanding like, hey, when I provide this very specific pointed piece of feedback to you, I'm not attacking you. I'm trying to make the work the best that it can be. And I think a lot of that, and this is like an Ira Glass quote that you can just look up, is like, doing more of that work and just doing it over and over and over again, because it really does teach you how to deal with a lot of this feedback the right way. And it conditions you to understand they're not attacking me personally. They're just trying to make the work better. And it's kind of up to us as creatives to remind ourselves that we have to see it that way, so that, regardless of what you're doing, it is going to feel personal to some level. But being able to step back and pull away and say, okay, I just poured my heart into that thing. It didn't work the way that I needed to. I got to give myself a break and come back. And that's kind of this piece here of choose your battles. Sometimes when you're in some of these things, there's small minutia, like you're really trying to push someone towards specific decision making about where a button is or a color or wording or whatever. And maybe that specific battle isn't worth having, because now you just kind of tainted your relationship with the person who's now struggling to get you to do something. So a lot of this can boil down to just making sure that you're prioritizing more of the overarching process and project, and knowing